Last time on Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. Right, the court record button. Sounds like it's time for some hands-on action. Stop touching me, Apollo, but I'm scared. Hey guys, Ryden here, and welcome back to Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. Hope you guys are enjoying this series because I am enjoying making it quite a bit, actually. It's a nice little change from the usual Fire Emblem stuff I've been doing lately. And I love doing them side by side, actually. It's really fun. So, anyways, last time we were on her Miss Olga's testimony, and I was trying to figure out what's wrong with it, because she's not saying which type of chip is which. If the chips are backwards, then Phoenix would have no reason to kill him over money. The one who was winning, Dot, was the victim. For last 10, defendants play with all chips on table and lose. Is that really right? No pun intended. Plays with all chips on the table and loses. But he still has some. It's very interesting trying to figure out what it wants from me. Because I'm starting to see, like, several contradictions, but it's just pieces of things that I can't ask about, like, which chips are which, but it seems like the game decided, like, oh, that's what it was. But I'm gonna just go for it and hope this works. Nope, there goes my health bar. I'm sorry, but I can see nothing faulty. Unfortunately, I will have to penalize you, Mr. Justin. Boom! Ugh, I must be on the wrong track. I guess I am. For the last 10, defendant play with all chips on table and lose. The one who was winning was the victim. You're telling me that Mr. Wright, undefeated for 7 whole years, was losing. That must have been most unlucky day for him. But I'm glad I did not take other picture of him. It would break camera, certainly. The chips, they went always to victim's side of table. So you're the one telling us it was a one-sided game. Thus, one-sided, and for the last hand, the defendant played with all chips on table. I also want to kind of ask about this. Last hand? It was largest points of any hand. The defendant's hand, it was excellent. He tried to use it to take victory from behind. It appears that both the defendant's and the victim's hands are in the picture. That is truly an excellent hand, however, so is the victim's. The one with the highest number wins, the defendant loses. The victim, Mr. Smith, had a stronger hand than the defendant and crushed him. I believe that explains what occurred next. Once cards laid down on table, it happened. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle and... Remember, your first goal is to gather information. Yes, sir. I mean, I'm trying to... Hold on. I gotta count this and see if there's an even amount of everything. If there isn't, then that's wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's an even amount, so... that would work out just fine. And so that would be 10 of 100, which would equal 1,000 in itself. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would equal 6,000 plus 1,000. Oh, so nope, that's wrong. The defendant is winning the game. That's wrong. So you're sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure. It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at the picture is enough to tell you who won, if you're not in kindergarten. Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court? Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points? Why, the big ones, of course, duh. Oh, I thought so too. But then the totals don't add up. What? The totals? For someone who insults someone so much, you're failing to use a lot of basic math. Let's review what the witness told us. She was like, duh, and then 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 vodka, and then they're like, Mr. Apollo, I think you're being slightly racist here. It's like, no, it's 100% accurate. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips. And combined, the total value of chips was 7,000 points. Yes, if my calculations are correct, let's see. 3 plus 1 carry the 5. They are, Your Honor. Now, look at this photo. Wait, look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. The big chips, if the big chips are worth 1,000 points and the small chips are worth 100, and you add them up, how much is it? Do it yourself. You weren't in kindergarten, are you? 10,600 points. The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony. But why? How could this be? I don't know. Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why. Right, there's only one possible way to explain the contradiction. The chip count was wrong, both are right. The starting points are wrong, the chip count was wrong. Both were right. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can only be one answer. Well, what is it? The value of the chips was the other way around. What? You want to know what I think? The small chips were worth 1,000 points, not the big ones. Madness, other madness. Why does this happen every time I come into court lately? Show me that photograph of the chips again. There are 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why, that does make 7,000 points when you add them up. I wonder if they've ever added any frames to the judges... Not frames exactly. But I wonder if they've added any, frames to the judge's animation. Because from what I can see, his, total... His sprite hasn't changed much, but... He hasn't really changed that much over the game, so... Excellent work, Justice. My hair is so goddamn awesome. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself. Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it. But wait! The value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing. Indeed, the victim did have the larger number of chips still. Oh, come on! Ah. Exactly. If the small chips are 1,000 points and the large chips are 100, and if you do basic math, which apparently everyone in this court isn't able to do except for me and the man standing next to me, let's add them up to do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table. The victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 points, and Phoenix had 4,100 points. Well now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all. That's impossible. My client even had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning. Yeah. Now, Miss Orley, you must have known the true value of the chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime. Weren't you? Eek. She's really good at that. Order, order. It appears our defendant has just lost his motive. And Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened. We must now ask ourselves whether... Oh. Hold it. Who said that? Mr. Wright? Oh, that was her that said that. Sorry, I have my volume very loud. I should turn up so I can actually hear the voices. Excuse me? What is it, Miss Orley? I did not want to be saying this, but... Actually, you see, See what, Miss Orley? What do we see? In the last hand, there was cheat. A cheat? You don't mean a trick? Wait, or do you mean a scam? They're all the same thing. Yes, there was a cheat in last hand. That is why game ends with chips as they are. Great, just great. First we have lying, now cheating. Well, that's basically all these court cases, just lying and cheating. Well, this case certainly has taken a turn. For the interesting... Witness, would you please testify to the court? Tell us about this cheating in the final hand. The final hand. The last hand, both men had full house. There is 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, game becomes argument. The defendant's trick was exposed. But he took out bottle and his hand in poor Mr. Smith. Miss Orley, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? I thought I smelled a cover up here. Yeah, if it wasn't obvious enough. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers. The non-sexual way. Did I just say that out loud? Everyone in the court's just staring at Apollo. Oh. Well, then. Aside from Apollo's obvious bothering of the witness, a full house is a very high-scoring hand. Not easy to make in my experience. I don't actually know how to play poker, so I hope this case doesn't become, like, difficult for me. That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics. Mr. Gavin? What's a full house? Oh, thank you for explaining this, because I don't know how this game works at all. Lawyers these days, you don't know your poker. I can't say this bodes well for your case or career. What is this, some kind of secret court poker ring? Justice. You know the terms 1 pair, 2 pair, and 3 of a kind, yes? Yeah, no problem. 2 cards of the same number make a pair, and 3 makes a 3 of a kind. Good, now picture a hand with 1 pair and 1 3 of a kind. That's a full house. Doesn't that sound that doesn't sound very easy to make, does it? You can see each player's hand in this photo. Wow, they both have full houses. We forget, there's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat! The defense may cross-examine the witness. If he did cheat in the last hand, that still leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who's ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? The last hand, both men had full house. Just how hard is it to make a full house anyway? It is quite hard, da. It is making a pair and a 3 of a kind at same time. I guess that's right. Very difficult to be sure. I cheat all the time, every single game. I cheat during these court cases. What do you mean you cheat during the court cases? Phoenix has actually lost all of his court cases, but I keep fixing them so he wins. Oh, that's good to know. You can take my word as the poker head of the courtroom number 3. Very difficult, da, but is not impossible. Oh, okay. Full house, hard. This line of questioning, a waste of time. There is 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. Is that true? 4 of each card, you say? Da. There is 1 spade, 1 diamond. I have a feeling this is gonna have to do with the picture or some of the cards are on the floor. There is 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each card. It is interesting fact that this number 4 comes from number of seasons. Huh? You don't say. And did you know that cards are numbered 1 through 13? All the cards in the deck and you get 364 a year. Huh, you don't say. Isn't that one day short? That's why the deck has 2 jokers. You say the second joker stands for the leap year. Unless you have a perfect representation of the year, all in a deck of cards. Huh, you don't say. We're going to be in this courtroom for a year if it keeps going like this. If you look at both men's hands, the cheat is more obvious. Well, I'm going to look at some of the evidence real quick. Because I don't know the true answer to this. And there's cards all over the floor, but that's after he's dead, so it doesn't prove much because he could have just knocked them off. Olga's photo. That also does not prove anything. Chip photo. It's very hard to see from here, but it looks like they both have a full house. I'm just gonna take their word for it, like I can't... But wait a minute. If there's 2 different decks of cards, then... Don't they do that to avoid cheating, as they said? Wait, do we not have the... Oh shoot, we don't have the witness thing either. I guess we'll just have to keep pressing. How was it clear? Well, the defendant... He played a 5th ace. A 5th ace? I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. And Mr. Wright's 2. Obviously, cheating was afoot, or perhaps I should say a hand. Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony without Mr. Bain's joke. It's quite bad. Very well. The witness will add this detail to our testimony, please. I kind of wish that there was just, like, a piece, like, a spot on the floor where people are just throwing all the new evidence added onto the ground. Like, should we really be doing that? It's like, oh, I forgot the victim's body. Throws it just right onto the court table. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces and Mr. Wright's 2. It is 5 aces in all. They had 2 decks, though. So... The next moment, the game becomes argument. The defendant's trick was exposed. Do you recall what the men were arguing about? I believe so. The victim, he shouts, "You are a cheater." Then, the defendant shouts something like, "I have objection." That sounds right. Shouting objection, eh? Old habits are hard to break. First he bluffed his way through the courtroom, now he bluffs his way through life. However, Mr. Wright lost the hand. That seems to cast a shadow of doubt on Mr. Smith. Humiliation from losing even when cheating. That is what set fire to the defendant's heart. So, what did the flaming defendant do next? He took a bottle in his hand, poor Mr. Smith. First she says it was a serious competition, now she says there was cheating. Justice, notice anything odd? Her testimony keeps changing, now she says the defendant cheated. Actually, yes, I had noticed that. Let's get to the truth about this cheating first, shall we? Right, leave it to me. Yeah! Last hand, both hand, I don't... What part of this proves that wrong? I mean, there's 2 decks. That's obvious. This has nothing to do with anything. This has nothing to do with anything. It's one of these 2 photos. It's either this one, or... which I don't think it has anything to do with. I mean, you can see some of the cards on the floor. Literally all over the floor, but if that's after the murder, that doesn't help really prove anything. We're gonna have to present this somewhere. Wait a minute. I thought she just added this to the court evidence. Where is it? That's weird. If this is the same hand, though, this doesn't look anything like it. Not at all. There's one ace here, and there's nothing else here. Is it really that simple? Oh shoot, I didn't mean to press. I already did this once. I'm trying to skip through this, but it's not going very fast. Blah blah blah. Oops. Blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Better find some evidence. But he just said earlier that they have 2 decks to prevent cheating. I don't know what I should actually present here, but I'm going to take a wild guess and just present this here and hope it goes well. It appears the witness is mistaken. Oh, I guess. I have no idea what was wrong, but... I mean, I can see them on the table, and that's obviously not what's happening, but I feel like even that's a little too dumb for a witness to overlook. Like, we have a photo of their hands. I didn't think that could possibly be it, but I think I'm just overthinking things. Mistaken, but my name... Look at this piece of evidence. It clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony. That's the photo of the chips, is it not? Justice, perhaps you want to explain your point in a way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point. Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo. What particular point contradicts the witness's testimony? I'm gonna say it's the blue deck to prevent cheating. Why, it's here, of course. It's where? Where is it that you're pointing? Where, good question. We've already heard today on the dangers of bluffing. Sorry, Your Honor. Better rethink this. I think you'd best point out your point again. Huh. What particular point? Oh, there's a card way down here. What is this? Is that it? Is that it? No. Okay. Looks like I'm gonna continue getting this wrong. Okay then, well. I was gonna keep continuously guessing. There's also one over here too. Like, what does it want? I don't understand. Just want me to say, look at their hands? Mr. Wright would have had 2. And then he would have had 3, but he has none. Is that it? Is this it? What do you want me to look for? I'm having a really hard time understanding what this game wants from me right now. Oh, those... I couldn't even see that! Those were the aces? I'm playing on such a small screen, I couldn't see it, and I thought they were just whatever cards. I could not see that from here. Okay, I get it. I get it now. Sometimes there's those, like, tiny moments in Phoenix Wright games where you're just looking at, like, you're looking at objects, and it's not so easy to decipher what it wants from you. Miss Orley, in your testimony, you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand... Okay, I didn't even read that before it skipped. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only had 2 aces. Eek. Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. That's why I was confused, because to me, I didn't think those were aces. And that was confusing me. I was wondering, like, is the hand she was talking about a different hand? Because to me, these don't look like aces at all. In just my opinion, they're so far away and so hard to see, you know? Maybe it's not because... Maybe it's probably because I'm not too familiar with cards and how they work, but that's probably just the issue. Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the third ace in question. Yeah, that's wrong too, buddy. Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant's hand had 2 aces, or as you can see, the defendant had also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's this 5th ace? I see cheating alright, and it's going on right here in this courtroom. You show him, Apollo. 2 aces in each player's hand, that does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating.
Please, wait, please. It is true, I have seen it, the 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you.
That's odd. She must be lying, yet she's the most sincere I've seen her all day. You're right, you must trust your instincts. Mr. Gavin? Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? I don't know what lies in store. Your Honor, if I may have a suggestion. What might that be, Mr. Gavin? If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards. The cards? Mr. Payne? Yes. The players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court. Very well, the prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards? If these cards don't prove cheating was going on, nothing will. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? I'll say... The victim's hand, I guess. It was the victim's hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony. Defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards. Very well, Mr. Payne, if you would. Very well. Well, time's a-wasting. Get to it, Justice. Yes, sir. God, if I was doing this, the case would already be over. When do I have to deal with this? I'm gonna go hang out with Edgeworth later, and we're gonna go drink tea while we call everyone of lower class bad names. Simpletons, in fact. When examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and angles. Try using the dials on the evidence viewer. That should give you a better perspective on the case. Okay, let's do this! Whoa, what? This is I have never seen this before. This is super cool. Whoa. That's awesome. He has one of the blue cards. He was cheating. What? Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards. The back is a different color. Ah! That's impossible. I put that card in the right hand. I mean, What was that, Miss Orley? No, niet, sir. I nearly... I have... Your Honor. But Mr. Gavin, yes? Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker? To cheat? I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. The dealer. I'm starting to see this come together. Judge, you're really not... I see it. Hold on. I'm gonna figure out this case before you. Wait, so you mean... This witness, Miss Orley... She's the cheater, a professional, I'd wager. Yeah. Order. Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. I mean, her mistake. Damn. Like, there's 3 times in this single case that makes Apollo look like some, like, harassing molester so far. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard. That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand. Ergo, Miss Olga Orley conspired to cheat, not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith. I really like his pursuit theme, actually. It's one of my favorites. Ugh. Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim. What? Wait, you don't mean... Defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga Orley, are you? Time for justice. Like, him, Arthur, would get along so well. I just want a game that's Apollo with Arthur as his sidekick. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident. And if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am. The defendant accuses Miss Olga Orley of murder. Oh, God. Oh, no, she fell over. Oh, the pot still landed straight up. Mr. Payne, where is your witness, Miss Olga Orley? It appears she has lost, consciousness, Your Honor. Mr. Justice? Your Honor. Seems you presented a new possibility to the court. One suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Sir Smith. And that means? This court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time. In the meantime, we're all just gonna go and play on the playground outside. Sir, I don't think that's what recess means. I don't care. Get those kids off the playground immediately. It's judge time. What? I did it. I held out. I see no point in prolonging this trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries. What? Oh no. What are you gonna do? Mr. Wright? You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet. What nonsense is the defendant spewing now? Think, one of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what that means? Well, what are you saying? What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when we're about to get off the hook. Ridiculous. Mr. Payne, you of all people should know. Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night. Oh, are we gonna get to cross-examine Phoenix Wright? That's awesome. As was said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night. That was said before. The 2 decks at the club have different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? If we use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed up. You used different colors and they still got mixed up. We used the red deck for the last game. I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I have the impression that you are using the blue cards. Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards. Whatever, in the end, 1 card of the wrong color got mixed into the mix. Which means there was cheating. Yes, a card slipped into the deck Yes, a card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think, in the last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are 3 broad possibilities here. It could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder. Well, yeah, thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swapped. Oh? It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne, or it might not be. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? When were the cards swapped into the deck? Well, let's see. If she was sitting there the whole time... There are a bunch of cards on the floor, so that's a possibility. It was either during or after. I don't think it was before, actually. Because if you put them in beforehand... Wait a minute. What if Olga was the dealer? If it was done beforehand, then that would be easy. But I think it would be during. Well, during the murder is different. That's not during the game, it's during the murder. Huh, that's a good question. There's nothing to really indicate. Single blow to the forehead. I don't know. Oh, we have profiles now. We can actually look at that. Not much to see here, though. Let's guess. I'm going to say during. It's either during or after, I believe. Weren't they swapped during the murder? During the murder? Tell me. Exactly when is that? Oh, well. Very moment the act, I guess. Would that be the moment the cards were shown? Or perhaps the moment when the cheater was revealed? God, they're like on the same wavelength. Or maybe the very moment the bottle came down on Mr. Smith's head. You're right. Could I have a moment? That moment could cost you this case. Sorry, let me rethink this. When was the card swapped into the deck? Perhaps it happened after the murder. Is it really that simple that it's before? What is that ridiculous? What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly. Yes, but tell me. How do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible. Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible. Wow, that's some good life advice. Oh, even when the backs of the cards are a different color. If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time. Ah, quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder. Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that? Who indeed? There's one of the mysteries. That's one of the mysteries before us. There's another? Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for the blue card? Probably Olga. Who? The game, the murder, is done. The victim's dead. Only two remain in the room, alive that is. The defendant Phoenix Wright and our witness Olga Orley. So who was it that swapped the red card for a blue? If it was done afterwards, it had to be Olga. Well, it must have been Olga Orley who swapped the cards. She was trying to cover up the evidence of the cheating. But that does make some sense. Sorry. There's a problem with that explanation. Huh? Swap card was from the wrong deck. Yes, a blue card was stuck into the red hand. Mixing a card from the wrong deck when the backs are different colors. Remember you're talking about Olga Orley. She was the dealer. Do you really think she would make such a novice mistake? Actually, I have trouble imagining even the judge making that mistake. Give a little more thought to it, Apollo. Right. Okay, so is it the red card swap? Someone else. And well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga Orley either. What are you suggesting? It's hardly... Oh my god, is it actually Phoenix? Hardly a logical conclusion. As the defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss Orley at this point. Yes, I know. But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she could make the mistake of swapping the wrong color card. If the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious. Huh. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright? Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking about how much fun all this is. Fun? How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. The one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant and it wasn't Miss Orley. Then who was it? Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. God, I hate this bullshit that Phoenix is pulling right now. It's awful. It is absolutely, like, horrid. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction. The right direction. Oh my god, Mr. Wright, you get out of the court now. A new direction?
We'll find that, indeed, after the murder. Someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand, and that someone made 2 critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us what the first was swapping the wrong color card. The one who did not... Wait, because the one who did the swap didn't know the 2 colors of the cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right. The person replaced the 5th ace with a king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a 5th ace after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in. But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist. True, not until now. But you have to admit the possibility of a 4th person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime.
What?
I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright.
This trial has proceeded on one central assumption. Namely, that at the time of the incident, there were only 3 people in that room.
I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption.
The problem is that you choose to conceal this information from the court.
I suppose that is a problem, yes.
Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess. Wink, wink.
Oh, of course. I can't wait, Your Honor. I've been waiting for this all day long.
Apollo's just like, oh, what's going on? And Phoenix is like, I'll see you in mine, Apollo. And he's like, I don't even know where you live, man.
Certainly, Your Honor. Very well, the trial will resume in 20 minutes.
This is a good starting case. Like, the popular opinion I've heard is that the 2 middle cases are bad, the 3rd case being one of the worst ever and just drags on and on, so I'm kind of dreading that to come by. But apparently the final case of the game is also really good, so I can't wait to get to that.
Look at me, I'm swagging all over the place.
Is that a painting of the judge in the background? Why does he look like a Dark Souls undead?
That was right unexpected, Mr. Wright.
Or that was quite unexpected.
To suddenly claim there was another person at the scene of the crime like that. I must ask, is it the truth?
Well now, I think you would know the answer to that. Oh my god, he does the exact Edgeworth thing.
Being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for mysteries. I'd only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome.
I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Kristoff. Justice. Oh god, this is getting weird. Yes, sir?
The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me.
You did well, Apollo.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
That locket you wear, is that really yours, Mr. Wright?
You're wondering about the victim's disappearing locket.
Here, you can take a look at it. It's a picture of my daughter in there.
Why is your daughter a red mage? I'm just surprised to hear that you had a daughter.
Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. The one who cheated at that night, was it you?
What do you think?
Huh?
You know what happened 7 years ago, what I did. No, I don't. It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. But I never, honest, but... That is odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. You see, poker's all about reading your opponent. And cheating. In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like trial law? Figure out what your opponent is thinking and you win. Well, yeah, but it's harder than it sounds.
I think not.
What?
Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a valuable source of information.
You're kidding!
That witness, for instance, Miss Orley. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice?
No. Come on, who'd notice that?
Words, habits, twitches, it's all information for the reading. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me, and now I pass that secret on to you.
But I'm not worthy. I mean,
There's no way I'll pick up on these signals.
I'm not worthy of the holy man, Mr. Wright. I'm not worthy of this tracksuit hobo. No, you can do it.
Huh?
You just don't know it yet. What is he talking about?
But you will, soon. Almost forgot. One more thing, about this case. You should know, I haven't told the truth to anyone yet.
What? I knew it.
I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there defending me. I need your power.
My power? I had no idea my cords of steel were that special.
It's time. The real trial begins now. Do your best.
Oh, God. Stop making this so hard on me, Mr. Wright. Stop it. Stop. Do. I'm liking this so far. I hope you guys are. It's a little different trying to, like, segue between actually reading and talking about it, but I'm starting to get used to it. Court is in session. Court? Wait, what? That can't be a typo. That can't be a typo. Couch will now This game is unplayable. This game is unplayable. That was an actual typo. Wow. Has our witness, Miss Olga Orley, recovered? Yes, Your Honor. Well, she's regained consciousness. I didn't mean to click on that.
Perhaps we can hear her version of the events again.
That's the thing, you see. She's quite fatigued. You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne.
Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Miss Orley take the stand.
Very well. The witness will take the stand. If you're tired, you can drop the pots, you know.
Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession. Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poor loser.
Damn.
Nay, not.
Oh my. What happened?
Name's Olga Orley. That's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Olga Quickfingers Orley.
Oh, really?
Want to know something else? I'm not really Russian, and my last name just sounds like, oh, really? There's the truth. I hope you're satisfied.
Why do you look like a pirate? Witness, you will tell the court what you were really up to that night.
Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, see?
Let me remind you that you are currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences.
Fine. I don't think she's gonna lie anymore. Make mistakes, but I don't think she's gonna lie. Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy, Mr. Smith, hired me to do what I do best. I was planted at the Borscht Bowl Club several days prior.
What actually is borscht?
Sounds good. I was planted at the Borscht Bowl Club several days prior to the night of the crime. As a waitress.
So you were in cahoots with the victim?
Not that he needed my help. Smith is a well-known poker player in some circles. But winning wasn't the main purpose of the game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple, elegant. Really, you see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. Then, when their hands were revealed, Mr. Smith could
call him out and search Mr. Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut. You swapped cards. Yep. Well, it didn't seem like that went well. Exposed as a cheater and losing on top of that, it would have made a great double pay. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces.
Indeed. Getting caught red-handed at cheating would cast doubt on all his prior wins.
A 7-year legend destroyed by one little card. That was the plan.
Oh, really, Orly?
How droll. But it appears you've made quite a mistake.
A mistake?
I agree, the trap was elegant. Not as elegant as me, but still elegant. Yet what happened to that planted card?
Hey, that's right.
He's lucky, I'll give him that. You'd have to be to slip free from a trap laid by Olga Quickfingers Orly.
Oh, really?
The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick.
I know, right?
Cute? Who wants to be cute? I'm not cute, I'm bad. You hear me? Bad. That, oh my god.
Perhaps when you're through being bad, you could testify to the court.
Tell us about this trap and how it was sprung. Best laid traps. That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the hand just like he was supposed to. And then Mr. Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone and the trap failed. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Mr. Smith, it was that no-good cheating defendant.
Surprisingly frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark.
The trap was perfect, I tell you, perfect. If that rotten cheater hadn't messed it up.
Look who's talking. Well, the testimony for what it's worth, it's all yours, Mr. Justice.
With witnesses like her, who needs criminals? And with defendants like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors?
Oops, I just bumped my desk. The best laid traps.
This planted card, which card was it exactly? The trump card, the 5 of hearts.
Let me guess, Mr. Wright was to have switched the 5 with the ace to make a full house. At least that's what you were going to accuse him of doing, thereby ruining his legend.
I slid into Wright's pocket.
When was this?
Why, before the match, of course. While he was eating. At the Borscht Bowl Club, we served borscht and suckers. Oh.
Remind me never to go there.
Of course, the card was to make its grand debut during the game. Like a good borscht, a good plot must be cooked up early and allowed to thicken. And Wright lost the last hand just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. So everything went according to plan. Exactly. The 5th ace came up, so it's obvious the switch went off without a hitch. One extra card was found in his pocket. Wright would be forever known as a cheat and a fraud.
There are worse things to be known as, I suppose.
Tell us what happened with the search. But the planted card was gone and the trap failed.
Where'd it go then? The card disappeared?
Yeah, my trump card. The 5 of hearts. Gone, without a trace. Poof, Zippo.
Never heard someone use the word Zippo before.
We searched every nook and cranny. But even inside his cute little hat.
But the card was nowhere to be found. Is that the card I saw in the very bottom left corner of the picture?
Never in my long storied career. Never has Quickfingers Orly been so readily duped.
Oh, really? So what did happen to that 5 of hearts?
Don't look at me, why don't you ask that cheating, lying, two-faced defendant? So the 5 of hearts is still missing in action. Next moment, Wright picked up the bottle and swung it. I feel like this is a trap almost to do this. Like, look here, I can see it. Unless it's the table. I can't tell what these are supposed to be, but that looks like it's it right there. Like it fell out of his pocket or something. I'm gonna press this last one. Or not even press, I'm just gonna... Next moment, Wright. It wasn't me who hit Mr. Smith, it was that no-good cheating defendant. Let me ask, how's your eyesight? Just who do you think you're talking to? They don't call me quick fingers for nothing. I'm a pro, which means my dealing's pro, and my eyesight is pro. Honestly, she should have to be blind as a bat to miss something in that small room. Yeah, but Mr. Wright didn't have a motive to hit the victim. Different personality, but the same testimony. I believe you have her where you want her, Justice. The circumstances have changed, yet her testimony is not. That means there's got to be a contradiction in there. Quite. I think I already see it, but I want to recheck everything. I feel like this is it, and you're supposed to see it. I don't know what this has to do with anything. And if anything, it just kind of proves that the wine was next to him, but that's all the way upstairs, I think, because the piano's upstairs. I'm gonna try this. That's obviously not it. That is not it. Fortunately, I will have penalized you, Mr. Justice. I must be on the wrong track. Wait, isn't that a little odd? But what's odd? You searched Mr. Wright thoroughly and found nothing, which means he didn't cheat, which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Well... What? What was that just now? I sensed something. Menacing. Something wrong, Mr. Justice? You thought it was me, Apollo, but it was me, Dio. No, nothing, Your Honor. What to do? Should I press her a little harder? Yeah, press harder. Miss Orley, you're hiding something. What are you talking about? What is she holding? Me, quick fingers, Orley, hide something? The defense will refrain from baseless accusation. I have one question for the witness, then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. I did see it, honest. I saw it when Wright hit him. Oh god, what is this again? With my own eyes, I saw it. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? That witness, for instance, Miss Orley. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? Touching her neck, was it? Oh god! The more and more they show Apollo's like special abilities and his personality, he's starting to look like some sort of weird molester. Whoa, what's going on? I can see the future! She's gonna touch the back of her head. The sensation! It's coming into focus! There, that twitch, it's so clear. It's like I could perceive her habit, like I couldn't before. Like Apollo's just standing like a foot away from her. She's like, could you mind my personal space? And Apollo's like, no. It's like I could perceive her habit before I couldn't before. Wait, what? Perceive. Okay. Miss Orley, perhaps you are unaware of this yourself. Unaware of what? Whenever you get out to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand. My neck? So what? What indeed, Justice? I hadn't noticed anything of the sort. When she says that part of her testimony, she's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to her memory and she touches her neck. I'm sure of it. A memory? Would someone care to explain what he's babbling about?
This is highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence of this memory to show us. Her habit is scratching her neck whenever she talks about the moment of the crime. Oh, what? Oh, it's the pendant. Something about the pendant. Whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. Notice it happens when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left the inerasable impression on your neck, that is. I don't know. Like, the necklace isn't in here. Death caused by a single blow to the forehead. That doesn't make sense. Do I present the crime photo to show that the pendant is gone? Is that it? I doubt it's it. I'm probably going to get it wrong, but... Sorry to disappoint, but I don't have any particular memories of that. Uh-oh, it must not have been it. Of course not. You want a habit, Mr. Justice? I'll show you a habit. Ah, ha, ha, ha. What the hell? I don't like this guy's hair. Oh my god, this episode's running pretty long. I better get this sorted out before I develop a habit of my own. Her habit is scratching her head whenever she talks about the moment of a crime. So we'll remind her most of the moment of the crime. Miss Orley, whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. Okay, yeah, we already know this. I don't know. What is it? The only other thing I could think of is the wine glass. There's nothing else here that has to do with anyone's neck. At all. I'm just gonna have to go with the wine glass because that's the only object. Unless she was hiding the card, like, in her neck or shirt or something. The phone? That makes sense. I don't know what it's asking for. The bottle? That's all we have, really. Oh, okay. Guess it's really that simple. Whenever she talks about the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. And what reminds us more of the moment... Wait, and what reminds us more of that moment than this bottle, the murder weapon? Oh, God. But something doesn't fit. You were the only one to witness the crime. Why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain? What is he talking about now? It was Mr. Smith, the victim, who was hit. Not you. This is a cross-examination, not a cross-wild conjecture. The witness's habits? They're completely irrelevant. Justice, I'll admit I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later, just trust me. At first when Phoenix saying that someone taught it to him, I thought he was actually talking about Kristoff and not Mia, but I guess it was Mia. Well, I've never seen him use it. I'll explain later, just trust me. Now's our only chance to break her. God. Ms. Orley, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment. Niet, I am knowing nothing. What? She just went back? We know you're not Russian. The witness will testify, please, now. Bah, fine. Alright, so I'm going to end this episode here. I think it's been going on for a bit long. So, you know what? We could be right at the end, but I don't know. So I'm going to end the episode here. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys will enjoy it. Subscribe now to become a member of the Dust Brigade. And if you liked the video, please leave a like. If you disliked it, leave a dislike. I'm fine with that too. So, thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Have a wonderful day. Right now.